Hi all, and welcome back to a new video. This was a bit of an unexpected video because I realized I hadn't really announced some major things that you obviously ought to know about. As I said at the start of the holidays, I had my holidays planned full of work, a few trips, mostly to follow my dad's triathlon around, and I also had in mind the finishing and publishing of a book, the sequel to Just Perfect, Red Ribbons. So, as you know, I published Just Perfect 3 years ago. It's been widely read and well received, so if you haven't gotten yourself a copy, do so now because it's about time. Just Perfect itself has gained some amazing reviews, lots of 5-star reviews, including from readers' favorite. It has been starred in a Belgian newspaper, Het Laatste Nieuws, and it's been all over the place, so I'm really excited about that, and I hope the second book can gain the same amount of success, and I think it can, if you help me. So, just a little bit of information on the book, which you obviously want to know about, because it's very important to me. I worked on it for 3 years, 3 full years, and I think the topic is very relevant. So, in this book, I share what it's like to live with mental illness, struggling with depression, eating difficulties, and self-harm. It's a fictional memoir, so it's not my story. It's a story of Christina, but I do think I include quite a few of my own experiences and the experiences of some of the people I've met along the way. So following up from its prequel, Red Ribbons chronicles Christina's life as she fights to regain control. Maybe I'll just read the back cover blurb for you first. So, as Christina's 18th birthday approaches, she finds herself struggling in recovery. Facing Philip's recurring depression and Miriam's increasing presence in her father's life, she attempts to take reins over what she can control: food. It is thus that she starts eating less and less, again opening the door to her eating disorder. But can she get her life back on track a second time? And why is it so difficult to accept the help she is given? Red Ribbons is a heart-wrenching tale of acceptance and denial, love and loss, mental illness, and the road to recovery. So that's that for you. The book is very dear to me, as is Just Perfect, because some of the scenes really come from some of my really tough times, from the points when I was very deeply trapped in my own depression and I thought I wouldn't be able to get out. When I thought that some of my problems really seemed unsurmountable. But yeah, this time I've decided to share these difficulties, also just to give you the hope that it can change. I honestly never thought it would, but it can change. It can get so much better. Although initially I would never have shared these stories with anyone. I was quite embarrassed of my past, my struggles, and the stigma attached to them. I am now embracing my stories and sharing them in the hope of helping others. So why am I doing that? Because the stigma must be broken. No one should ever feel alone, and no one should be afraid to admit what they've gone through and what has brought them to where they are today. Why else have I written this story? Because mental health difficulties are far from understood. When I admit my struggles with anorexia, especially, I'm still faced with thoughtless comments and jokes concerning body and food. And these are not helpful, and they convey so much naivety, and there's no wonder that other sufferers feel so misunderstood. Hence this book, for sufferers, for supporters, for everyone really, so do share it around. Self-harm is not to get someone's attention. Eating disorders are not just a desire to be thin. They are so much more. For me personally, anorexia wasn't about the body at all. It wasn't about how my legs looked, how my arms looked. It wasn't about how my bones stuck out, or about the clothing size I fit into. Mostly, it was just about the feeling. It was about the comfort it provided, the safety. It was about the wall I had built around myself in order to protect myself from the pain. The numbness from emotions, and just escaping feeling real life and real life difficult emotions. I never really liked my bones sticking out, but nevertheless I felt like it was the only way I should look. I never liked to be exhausted after walking up the stairs, but at the same time I felt like I didn't deserve the energy. And that made it so difficult to change. Anorexia was never about a thin body, a number on the scale, or a clothing size. Anorexia was a state of mind. It was a serious illness, and it should never be seen as a beauty ideal. It is deadly. It should never be seen as a beauty ideal. Neither should any other mental health disorder, and hence I ask you to grab yourself a copy of my book, to pass it on, to leave a review, and to just spread the word. Before I close off, I want to just leave you with one last extract from my book. So, take in these words, process them, and remember them, because they are important. Also, remember that you are strong, that no obstacles are insurmountable. And I just want to thank you for all your support and for trying to understand, for understanding, while so many others swim around in a sea of unknowing. So here I go. Let me just get the ebook up. All right. That's what depression does. It drags you down until you end up inside a grey spiral. It lures you into one of those dreams where you fall and fall and fall, and there's no end, and oxygen is running out, and the light dims and everything disappears. Water fills your lungs, and you can't find the surface, and you're struggling against it, but you're unable to breathe. Depression intoxicates your brain and turns your friends to foes, your family to strangers. You push them away so you won't hurt them the way it hurts you. Before you know it, you're surrounded by a darkness that clouds your head and fills you with nothing but your own suffering. Your twisted ideals form a second skin, a second home, and it is almost as if the first one never existed. You want to curl up in bed, to curl up and disappear. You want to die rather than to climb back up to the faint light you can only barely make out. You want to sleep. It is like death, but without the commitment. And you are sad, but not quite. It is more like an emptiness has settled inside your bones, seeking refuge in the silhouette that once was vital with life. Nurturing a depression is like nurturing a brick that isn't all that heavy, and so you carry it around for days, months, years. You can no longer put it down. The weight doesn't change, but the burden does. You no longer remember how light it once was, how irrelevant. Even when you pretend it isn't there, its rough surface scratches your palm. You cannot let it fall. You feel numb. You feel powerless. A heavy cloud hangs over your head, its shadows tainting your world a somber grey. You are running up a muddy hill, every step taking more and more of the energy you no longer possess. And you're afraid. You're afraid that, gradually, you've turned into the devil inside your head. That you are one. You aren't. You know that you aren't, and you know there's a way out. People can get through anything as long as they see the light at the end of the tunnel. When you are depressed, you see no light. Thank you. I hope you'll check out the book. Stick with me on this channel. And I will see you soon.